Today we're going to take a quick look at the AGC Chrome browser extension that works on WikiTree profiles. Now to start with, we want to be on the Help Apps page, and of course that's just wikitree.com/wiki/help::apps apps. And you know, there's a lot of useful tools in here, but the one we're going to look at today, scroll down, you'd think it'd be under A, it's not. Down under browser extensions, it's right there, WikiTree AGC, and that's what we want. This was created by Rob Pavey. He does some really incredible stuff, and we really appreciate his extensions. So now when you go to the WikiTree AGC page, and sometimes it looks a little intimidating as far as what all you can do, but really there's not much to it. What you want to do here is go ahead and look whether you have Chrome or Firefox. There's a link for either of those there. So at any rate, let's go ahead and take a look. Now I've added this to, you know, my browser. And then you can either work off of a data doctor list, you can work off of your own family tree. Right here what I did is I just went ahead and did a text search for the word GEDCOM and find suggestions, and this will show you kind of some of what the profiles are out there and what it is they're needing. Unfortunately, some of these are not ones that are going to be easily fixed, but let's go ahead and show you what it does. Now here we have the profile of unknown Sarah Walton. I'm not sure why the name is done like that, but it is. Probably something from when they imported the other site didn't transfer over correctly. The unsourced, there's several errors with this. Unsourced tag is not quite correct, but this is what we want to look at. Now, you've all seen this on WikiTree profiles. We have the biography, a birth, a death section. It says it was a GEDCOM import. There's no real source. It just says that it was imported, and then there's a bad link to an ancestry tree. So, and that's an entirely different video. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what AGC can do for us. And while we are in here, though, I'm sorry, I'm going to correct this. So, only because I definitely want you to see what it does as far as writing the narrative. Whoops. Sarah, so let's okay, so now we're going to go back in and pretend like this is how Sarah's profile was when we started. And you can see now that there's a new button up there by your other helpful buttons when you're in edit mode, and that is the AGC button. And what we're hoping for is on the easy profiles, all you need to do is click this one. So let's check it with Sarah. And ta-da! All of a sudden now we have Sarah was born in 1706 in Durham, England. She died about 43 in Onslow, North Carolina, and that looks great. We can go ahead and correct this template if we want to now. And then this is the other part that needs to be checked. And you know, I know if you're in a hurry, you can leave it for somebody else to look at, but we don't really want to leave any kind of a mess once we've started with AGC. We want to clean it up. So it's just letting you know this section should be removed when all issues were looked at, and it's put it in research notes. Now it says there's more than one birth location, and they're completely different. Sometimes these will be close to the same, but these aren't even the same country. So one says 1706 in Durham, England. One says 1692 in Virginia in the United States. So this profile must have been merged at one point. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to take out issues to be checked so that I can leave things that do need to be left on there, and that does need to be left on research notes for whoever comes in after us and works on Sarah. And then for the second one, though, it says there is more than one death fact. They have different locations. So both dates said 1749. Both really said Onslow, North Carolina, but the second one was abbreviated. So since that is the same place, we consider that resolved. That's not something that needs to be corrected. And we're just going to go ahead and delete that out. Now, the source, of course, has a ancestry.com, and it says it's a bad link, but we're going to leave that for now. I'm going to go ahead and move it down to a C also, but we don't want to delete other, any type of a clue that would lead to others' work. And we don't want to completely take it out of there even if it's not helpful, but this is still considered unsourced, so we're going to leave that unsourced tag. And then let's go up and check and make sure our locations are correct. And this one, we want to go ahead and just take that extra space out. It says up until 1801, it should not have had United Kingdom, so we're going to change that. And then on this, the death place, hit your space bar again, and it's going to go ahead and allow us to check that. And up to 1776, that is correct, Onslow, North Carolina. And so we're going to go ahead and leave that. Now, had it been after the Carolinas joined the Union, then we would have, of course, added United States, but we're done. And then for change explanation, as you can see here, this is already filled in, that it's reformatted by the WikiTree AGC extension. I do like to go ahead and come down and preview and make sure I haven't broken anything. There's no red links or anything bad. It looks a lot cleaner. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit full save, commit changes. And now Sarah has a much cleaner profile. She still needs to be researched, but she's got a nice basis to start with. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. This is Guile's Rideout, born about 1700. Name is correct. We're going to go to that edit tab again and go down, and you can see that this does not even have a biography heading. So let's click the AGC button, and it's corrected that for us. It's corrected that, and it's also put narrative in, and it's combined any sources. So where one of the things we see with the GEDCOM is a source is in there sometimes 7-8 times, even if it's not even a source, it just gets repeated. And so this combines them, and it goes ahead and does the inline citation for you. So as you see here, they used the death record to say who he was the son of. They used the information on his marriage record, and they put that he died in Brunswick County, Virginia. Now, there's still going to be some things that we don't necessarily want in this. So let's go ahead and take a look in preview mode. And you can edit these things. You can save it first and then go back in and edit, or you can look at some of the basic stuff, which is what I prefer, and just go in and edit them. Those citations, the order needs to be changed, but that's not huge. And this is what we have. There's alternate names for this person, as seeing as one just has a E and one doesn't. You don't necessarily need to leave that in there. Notes from the external profile, this was somebody saying, that talking about the two brothers. And so you definitely want to leave that in research notes. And then issues to be checked, once again, we have issues. And as you see with the sources, it has combined them, although there's still some clutter here that you can clean up further. At least it's not, it looks a lot better than what it did when we started. So let's go ahead and I do want to just take out these empty lines. Okay, so let's go ahead and leave the narrative how they have it. Here it says there are additional sources with no facts or date. Sometimes it's information for the parents. And so you would just want to check and see. This says child's marriage, and look and see if that's a record that you need for this person. A lot of times what you'll find is that it's the marriage record for the parents, and you can just move that information to their profile and delete it from here. Now, alternate names, we can go ahead and leave that if we'd like, but we don't need the separate header for it. Notes from the external profile, we don't need the heading. I would definitely leave the note. And then issues to be checked, we're checking them, so we're going to take that out. We don't need issues to be checked. It says there was no biography heading, so one was added. That's been resolved, so we just want to delete that. Found a date, could not parse the date in the marriage record, and so we're just going to take that out. It just means it was having a hard time understanding the layout of the date, and you know, when this profile is further researched, all of those dates are going to be corrected anyways and sources added, we hope. And you know, it says combine the two marriage facts from 1730 to 1730. It's the same thing, so we're going to take that out. There's more than one birth fact. They have different dates and locations, and so you know, we probably want to leave these here, and looking at it, we definitely do. And the dates, once again, these were probably from prior merges, are anywhere from 1700 to 1742, which that one obviously is not for this profile, but 1700 to 1705, and the location is anywhere from England to London, England to Sherborne, Kentshire, England. So we want to go ahead and leave those in so that the person researching can assess those and decide which, you know, location is correct. Once they do, they can delete that section. There's more than one death fact. They have different dates, and so it shows 1749, and because only one of them had a location, it used the location of Brunswick. And you know, you can still leave that in there once again so that the next person knows where the variances are, you know, things that might be different that they need to confirm. And then let's look at that profile again. So now we have the biography. There's some nice narrative. I'm going to take that section out just because that is not related. Sorry. Okay, let's hit preview again. Now here we have a nice little stub bio, just a basic bio that people can add to, but it's a lot easier when you have this than with GEDCOM clutter. And then there are the notes for whoever's researching next that we just looked at. And then once again, the sources now are combined, and they should be combined, and it has this, of course, bad ancestry link. But you know, we're just going to leave all of that so when it is researched, that stuff can be cleaned up. All we're trying to do right now is to remove that GEDCOM clutter. So before I do, let's take a look at it one more time, how it started. And this was the profile when we started. GEDCOM clutter. That's what I would definitely call GEDCOM clutter. And now we're going to go back in and click on full save. And this is Guile's profile now. So now he has a nice little bit of narrative. He has some research notes for the person that comes in and looks for sources, and his sources are combined, whether they're valid or not. And so let's go ahead and take a look at one more. This is Mr. Edward Roy Shelton Jr. And this is one of those that, okay, you can see right off the bat that there's some issues. The biography heading is not even over to the left where it should be. And we're going to click this button, and it's going to tell you sometimes, I'm not going to be able to see that. At any rate, it says WikiTree AGC did not change it due to the following error. It failed to find separate biography line of text. And you know, if you don't feel comfortable combining it and trying to use AGC, you can stop and go to the next profile. But if you want to go ahead and try and fix it, you just want to address those errors one at a time. So now I've taken out that nonsense stuff that was before biography, and then I'm going to click on AGC again. And that was all it needed. So I do want to take this. It's got two different sentences saying when he was born. We can go ahead and take out ourself, personal recollection, because we don't need that in the narrative. It says when he died. Once again, this has sources with no facts or dates. If you want to just leave that so that it can be looked at later, you can just go ahead and cut that out. Okay, and we're going to paste it under research notes. Now, facts with no date, we don't need the heading once again. It says on an unknown date, Eddie was living in Springfield. We're just going to leave that, and somebody can assess that record and see, you know, what year he lived there. And then a burial fact had no date, so it changed the date to be after the death date. And we're not concerned about that. That's been resolved, so we're going to go ahead and take it out. And once again, we have an ancestry family tree. We don't want to delete anything that's already left as a clue to a record on a profile, so we're just going to leave that there. And you know, that alone would not have made this profile sourced, but they do have an obituary linked and a public record linked, and so you know, we don't need to worry about the unsourced tab. Once again, we're going to click on preview, come down and see we've got nice little basic narrative started that can be added to. We have research notes on things that where the dates and whatnot did not match up. Our sources are inline citations, and so those are inserted where they're applicable. And then this tree was left in a see also space. And it's auto-filled in the change explanation, reformatted by AGC. So you just want to click on full save, commit change. And now when we look at Eddie's profile, it looks great. It looks way better than it did. So that just gives you an idea of what you can do with AGC. Once you start feeling comfortable with it and use it, if you're like me, you'll just love it. I use it all the time now. And so, you know, go out there and fix those profiles and make them beautimous for the next person, as my girls would say, for WikiTree, and good luck.